The top stories tonight in Y News. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. attended the first Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao or BARM local legislative general assembly in Davao City, where he assured continued support for BARM's development agenda. Several members of the Partido Demokratiko Pilipino, Lakas ng Bayan or PDP Laban in the House of Representatives are leaving the party, a trend initiated by the resignation of House Senior Deputy Speaker and Pampanga 3rd District Representative Aurelio Dong Gonzales Jr. Former Senator Laila de Lima gives her message for former President Rodrigo Duterte, whom she believes played a role in her imprisonment. And the United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees warns the suspension of aid operations in Gaza Strip within 48 hours due to a fuel shortage caused by the Israeli siege. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Tuesday, November 14, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Harding Delgado. First in the news. More members of Partido Demokratiko Pilipino Lakas ng Bayan or PDP Laban in the House of Representatives are moving out of the party. This following the resignation from the party of House Senior Deputy Speaker and Pampanga 3rd District Representative Aurelio Dong Gonzales Jr. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Several lawmakers in the House of Representatives have left their political party or undergone a political realignment. From a high of 65 lawmakers of Partido Demokratiko Pilipino, Lakas ng Bayan or PDP Laban at the opening of the 19th Congress, it is now down to 15 according to Surigao del Sur 2nd District Representative Johnny Pimentel. He expects more to exit from PDP Laban in the coming weeks. Even Representative Pimentel himself, a member of PDP Laban, is considering leaving his own party.
But I have learned from the members that in the coming weeks, they will also be transferring to other political parties. I'm still waiting for developments, but I'm already weighing my options. Most probably, I will also be transferring to another party.
PDP Laban used to be the ruling political party with former President Rodrigo Duterte as its chairman. However, after the former chief executive criticized the August Chamber and House Speaker Martin Romualdez, lawmakers began to exit the party.
Congress is a collegial body and there is a leadership that manages or supervises the affairs of Congress. So therefore, we as members of Congress should also be aligned or attuned with the direction of the leadership. But it seems that the direction of PDP Laban is going the another direction, so probably the members deemed it prudent to transfer to other parties because we cannot serve two masters.
The Solons either transfer to Lakas CMD of Speaker Romualdez or join Partido Federal ng Pilipinas of President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr.
Pero ganun talagang kultura siguro ng politika natin dito. Whoever is in power, doon po dumadagsa yung mga ikangang mga politiko.
Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Breaking news. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. delivers his speech before his departure for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation or APEC Summit in San Francisco, California in the United States. Let's watch this. witnessed President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. boarding the airplane. Now let's listen to his departure speech. Meanwhile, President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. lauded the leadership of his cousin, Speaker Martin Romualdez, for ably leading the House of Representatives, which, according to him, has played an important part in nation building. He made a statement when he graced the celebration of Speaker Romualdez's 60th birthday on Monday night, November 13. The chief executive also reiterated the importance of unity in achieving the aspirations for the Filipino people, stressing his aspiration to maintain this robust and dynamic working relationship for the greater good together.
Have come to realize that there is very little we can achieve unless we work together. And so that the part of the House of Representatives, both houses of Congress, play a critical part for all our aspirations to make life better for every Filipino. And I cannot finish without pointing out that this very strong message of support could not have been possible without the fine leadership of our Speaker, our birthday boy, Speaker Martin Romualdez.
Remaining steadfast in the opposition, former Senator Laila de Lima vows to continue her advocacies now that she is released from detention. She also has a message for former President Rodrigo Duterte, whom she believes played a role in her imprisonment. JP Nunez will tell us why.
After over 6 years of imprisonment, former Senator Laila de Lima has finally been released. In the last hearing for her remaining case this year, the Muntinlupa Regional Trial Court reversed its previous decision, allowing de Lima to post bail for her remaining charge. In the resolution of Muntinlupa RTC Branch 206, it stated that the prosecution failed to present strong evidence regarding de Lima's alleged conspiracy with fellow accused to sell illegal drugs within the New Bilibid prison. The court found the testimonies of the witnesses against de Lima not credible, and the alleged conspiracy unproven. Now that she is free, de Lima intends to continue her advocacies and remain a part of the opposition.
I'm with the opposition because we share the very same advocacies, ideals, and visions for this country. And hindi naman natapos yung pakikilaban ko sa mga advocacies ko habang nakakulong ako. I never stopped. And now that I'm free, I'm even going to work harder for those advocacies.
She aims to reveal the truth about what she calls a fabricated case that she endured for a long time, particularly since many believe in the validity of the accusations against her.
I want people to know the truth of my innocence. I want the people to know how it happened. I want the people to know who are behind it.
The former senator seeks complete vindication for the damage to her name and reputation.
They destroyed my life. And that's why I'm going to rebuild my life now. They destroyed or ruined my name, my reputation. Now that I'm free, I'm going to work hard to redeem my name. And vindication, complete vindication, is the key.
De Lima also has a message for former President Rodrigo Duterte.
God forgive him and God bless him. He knows what he did to me, I suppose.
Nevertheless, she considers her unjust imprisonment as a blessing, acknowledging the lesson she learned while in confinement.
I became more prayerful. I became closer to the Lord because, you know, I've got so much time to pray, to read the Bible, to reflect.
One of her priorities is to return to Iriga City in Bicol to be with her 91-year-old bedridden mother. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Let's now watch the departure speech earlier by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation or APEC Summit in San Francisco, California in the United States.
My visit to the United States is on the invitation of President Joe Biden to participate in the 30th APEC Economic Leaders Meeting and related activities in San Francisco. It is my honor to represent the Philippines in the region's most important platform for trade, investment, and economic cooperation. The APEC region hosts 38% of the world's population, 48% of its trade, and 62% of its GDP. The largest segment of our OFWs call this region their second home. 85% of our trade and our top investors are from this region. I bring with me your hopes and aspirations for a peaceful and prosperous Asia-Pacific region where we live. This year, the U.S. chairmanship of APEC set the cross-cutting themes of sustainability, inclusiveness, and resilience as our priority work so that we can build a resilient and interconnected region that advances broad-based economic prosperity, enable an innovative environment to foster a sustainable future, and affirm an equitable and inclusive future for all, for every single Filipino. The U.S. APEC theme of creating a sustainable and resilient future for all aligns with our national and economic interest to transform the Philippines towards a sustainable future para ang lahat ng Pilipino ay magkaroon ng matatag, maginhawa at panatag na buhay. Our APEC work has been focused to prioritize and secure beneficial trade and investment, quality and green jobs, human development, and poverty alleviation. We will be engaging with the leaders of economies of the Asia-Pacific region to agree on how we can achieve food and energy security, economic inclusion of our micro, small, and medium enterprises, women, indigenous people, and other segments of our economy whose potential remains to be unlocked through digitalization and innovation and sustainable development and addressing the climate change crisis. I will meet with business leaders and conduct roundtable discussions on the APEC sidelines to once again invite investments to seek business opportunities, promote our exports, and discuss our economic agenda. At the APEC CEO Summit, which is the annual gathering of top CEOs from across the APEC region, I have been invited to deliver the keynote remarks on intentional equity in sustainability, to share the Philippine experience in ensuring inclusivity on our path to bringing a green economy to the Philippines. There will be several engagements with private sector representatives from the APEC Business Advisory Council, or ABAC, to discuss how we can use public-private partnerships to fulfill our agenda in innovative and sustainable development, finance, and economic and business reform. This trip marks my third visit to the United States as part of our continuing effort to further reinforce our already strong bond, and a follow-through to my official working visit in Washington, D.C. last May, where we underscored the need of forging closer economic ties and ensuring that our bilateral friendship and relationship works for both our peoples. On the sidelines of the APEC Summit, I expect to witness the signing of a number of government-to-government, public-private, and business agreements which have been under negotiation over the past several months, covering priority sectors such as nuclear energy, artificial intelligence to support weather forecasting, health sciences, particularly cancer research, diagnosis, treatment, and prevention, pharmaceutical manufacturing, and satellite connectivity. As with my previous visits, I expect to meet with American business leaders to further promote trade and investment opportunities here in the Philippines. Our economic team and I will be joined by a high-profile business delegation in exploring new and expanding partnerships. From San Francisco, I will also be going to Los Angeles, California, and Honolulu, Hawaii. I look forward to meeting the Filipino communities there in all three cities. California and Hawaii have the largest concentrations of Filipinos and Filipino Americans, home to almost half of the 4.2 million Filipinos in the United States, who serve as a bedrock of our bilateral relations. Mga kababayan, since the start of my administration, we have not wavered in our promise of not leaving anyone behind. And for a resilient Philippines, where the fruits of our hard work are equitably shared by all. Ikagagalak ko po ang inyong buong suporta. Mabuhay tayong lahat. Maraming salamat sa inyo. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat.
And for the news abroad, a complete ceasefire and the continuation of humanitarian aid across Gaza have been agreed upon for the next 5 days. This arrangement was brokered by Qatari mediators, contingent upon Hamas militants releasing 70 women and children they had in captivity. Last week, negotiations also took place to secure the release of some children and women in exchange for the liberation of 200 Palestinian children and 75 women held in Israel. However, according to a militant group, Israel is allegedly prolonging and avoiding compliance with this agreement. IDF spokesperson Daniel Hadari presented evidence of a tunnel and basement purportedly used by Hamas to conceal their captives in the Rantisi hospital. Admiral Hagari showcased a tunnel near a terrorist's residence, emphasizing its proximity to Rantisi Hospital and a United Nations-owned school.
We are here next to a house of a terrorist. This is one of the senior terrorists who is the head of the operational naval operations that led the raids into Israel. You can see the tunnel. The tunnel is let down more than 20 meters down. The rowboat found a door that is bulletproof. It's explosives proof, so it looks like a hard evidence, a clear evidence that the hospital direction is connected.
In the basement of Rantisi Hospital, the IDF spokesperson pointed out the possibilities that Hamas militants concealed their captives here, turning it into a hideout.
This is a suspicion for an area where hostages were being held. We can see this area is a closed area from the rest of the hospital. We can see the ventilation air that was done improvisely to this area. And we can see infrastructures that was built in here. In this room, there is a list. This list, in Arabic, this list says we are in an operation. The operation against Israel started in the 7th of October. This is a Guardian list.
The United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees has declared the suspension of its aid operations in the Gaza Strip within the next 48 hours, attributing this critical decision to a severe fuel shortage exacerbated by the ongoing Israel siege. Ani Manancilia tells us why live. Yes, Annie, good evening.
Good evening, Maven. Gaza's humanitarian operations hang in a balance, facing potential halt within the next 48 hours due to the Israeli siege restricting access to essential fuel, leading to critical humanitarian conditions in the region. Thomas White, the Gaza chief of United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees, or UNRWA, shared this alarming information in a social media post on Monday. The impact of Israel's strikes and siege extends beyond fuel scarcity, severely limiting access to water, food, and electricity, posing significant challenges for organizations aiding displaced and wounded individuals. Hospitals in Gaza are grappling with fuel shortages, affecting their ability to save lives, especially newborns in incubators as electricity generators cease to function, exacerbating challenges in purifying and pumping drinking water. Officials express heightened concerns about potential disease outbreaks due to the bombing and siege, with clean water access severely limited. Palestinian authorities report grim statistics stating that Israeli strikes on Gaza have resulted in the deaths of over 11,240 people, including 4,600 children since the conflict erupted on October 7. Back to you, Maven.
Thank you, Annie Mancilia, live from Singapore. Both Russia and the United States carried out strikes against rebels in Syria, but the Russian military criticized Washington's lack of coordination in its operations. According to reports from Russia's Interfax, an airstrike conducted by the Russian aerospace forces in the Idlib province of Syria on Sunday, November 12, resulted in the death of 34 fighters and injuries to 60 in illegal armed groups involved in artillery attacks on position held by the Syrian government forces. The airstrike targeted the positions of armed groups involved in the artillery attacks on positions held by the Syrian government forces, and it was reported that the government forces' position were attacked 70 times within 24 hours. Meanwhile, the United States launched a defensive airstrike on the orders of President Joe Biden on 2 Iranian military bases in southeastern Syria in response to consecutive attacks on American forces in Syria and Iraq, according to the Pentagon. The Syrian army, on the other hand, blames rebels for the attacks on government-held areas in the provinces of Idlib and Aleppo. They also denied indiscriminate attacks on civilian areas under rebel control.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has attended the first Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or BARM, Local Legislative General Assembly in Davao City. The president assured that his administration will continue to support BARM's development agenda. Mariela Tozo reports.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos expressed confidence in the creation of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or BARM, highlighting its potential for fostering greater cooperation and facilitating further development in the region. This is part of his significant address during the inaugural BARM Local Legislative General Assembly in Davao City.
The national and Bangsamoro governments will now have greater cooperation because of these offices that have now been established. We will have greater cooperation, greater coordination, and we will converge towards the realization of our shared endeavors.
He urged local officials to explore various collaborations aimed to improve the lives of their constituents. The chief executive also assured that his administration will continue to support BARM's development agenda.
To all our BARM leaders, I assure you that this administration's unwavering support for the development agenda to achieve sustainable and peaceful self-governance.
Marcos emphasized the importance of the activation of mechanisms to ensure the Bangsamoro Parliament's efficient and effective implementation of rules and laws. He added the need to consider the experiences of other countries, considering that the organization of a BARM government is something that we still have to learn about. Mariela Toza, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The proposed 2024 budget for the Office of the Ombudsman breezes through the plenary deliberations in the Senate today. In less than 2 minutes, the proposed 5.34 billion peso budget for the Office of the Ombudsman for next year was deemed submitted for approval as no senators interpellated the sponsor about the budget. Ombudsman Samuel Martires is grateful to senators for the swift passage of their budget for 2024. He says his request to reduce their confidential fund is final. Under the National Expenditure Program, the Ombudsman proposed 51 million pesos, but Martires then requested senators to slash the budget to 1 million pesos.
Pag mamaluktot ka pag maiksi ang kumot, di ba? So dito siguro, gagamitin na lang namin yung charm. Daan mo sa ngiti, baka naman matulungan ka ng iba. Idaan mo sa pagmamarites. Kung minsan nakakapulot ako ng mga informasyon dahil sa inyo eh. All I have to do is to validate the information that I got from members of the press.
The Senate temporarily suspends its plenary deliberations on the proposed 934 million peso budget of the Commission on Human Rights, or CHR, for next year. This comes after Senator Alan Peter Cayetano criticized a previous statement of CHR Executive Director and then spokesperson Jacqueline De Guia supporting the decriminalization of abortion. Senator Jinggoy Estrada, who sponsored the CHR budget, says, according to De Guia, she does not support abortion, but only its decriminalization due to unsafe abortions that affect the life of the mother. He adds the present commission has not taken a stand and is still studying the matter, ensuring that it values the right to life enshrined under the Constitution. Estrada then made a motion to defer the deliberation on the budget until the commission comes up with a strong stand against abortion. The deferment was also supported by Senate Majority Leader Joel Villanueva and Senate President Juan Miguel Migzubiri for the commission to finalize their solid position on the matter.
I move that we defer first the deliberation of the budget of CHR until they come with a stand against abortion, a strong stand against abortion. And please, I suggest to the members of the commission not to pinpoint to the wag sisihin yung nakaraang administrasyon with regard to their stand on abortion.
Despite consecutive weeks of diesel rollback, petitioners advocating for a 5 peso fare increase remain steadfast in their pursuit of the request adjustment. JP Nunez will tell us why.
Transport Group Pasang Mazda believes that the 3 peso rollback per liter of diesel today is beneficial to jeepney drivers, adding to the previous 1 peso rollback last week. Despite this, its national president Obet Martin stated that they remain firm in pursuing their 5 peso fare hike petition, citing the continued fluctuations in petroleum prices.
Kasi hindi po naman stable ang presyo ng mga petroleum products. Kanya, siyempre, alam mo naman, I do not expect by next week ay bababa to. Pero kasi mga pagkakataon na inaasahan natin bababa, biglang tumataas.
Today, November 14, was the scheduled hearing date of their petition. However, it was rescheduled as the board of LTFRB had no quorum, and the agency will notify them of their rescheduled date. Meanwhile, with the unpredictable prices of petroleum products, the group believes that the effectiveness of the 1 peso provisional fare increase must continue. The group mentioned they may suggest the termination of the provisional fare if diesel prices drop to 57 pesos per liter. As of today, the prices of diesel among gasoline stations range from 58 pesos up to 60 pesos after oil companies impose the rollback. Meanwhile, for jeepney drivers, the 1 peso provisional fare increase alleviated their total fuel cost within a day. However, they expressed concern for passengers who are still paying the regular fare.
Meron pa rin nagbibigay ng 12, kaso nga lang okay na sa amin kasi kaysa naman magipag-away ka nang dahil lang sa piso, di ba?
Iba hindi eh. Abot 12. Nahagis ko na lang dahil hindi na ako makikipagtalo eh. Baka mamaya magalit pa.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Migrant Workers has shut down Double D training consultancy services in Santa Cruz, Manila today due to alleged illegal recruitment. According to Migrant Workers Protection Bureau, or MWPB, they received a complaint in August that some seafarers were recruited and paid placement fees to the agency but did not board the ship. As a result, the training consultancy underwent 2 months of surveillance. However, Double D staff's defense is that they do not recruit seafarers but only refer them to recruitment agencies.
Hindi po kami illegal recruiter kasi kung illegal recruiter kami, syempre may sarili kaming mga tao na pinapaalis. Hindi po. We are just referring sa mga offices. Yun, inaamin namin po yun. Pero yung pagre-refer lang naman po kasi namin, tulong namin po. Nagpa-COP, humingi ng tulong. Ma'am, saan ba kami pwedeng mag-apply? Ganun lang naman po.
The DMW stated that even if the training agency only provides referrals, it can still be considered a form of illegal recruitment, especially if they accept a placement fee. Moreover, the agency is not listed as a DMW authorized recruitment agency. This year, Double D Training Consultancy is the 4th illegal recruitment agency that the DMW has shut down.
Malinaw sa definition ng illegal recruitment doon sa batas natin ang pagre-refer po for overseas employment, okay, lalo na kung palagian mo na itong ginagawa, nininegosyo mo na yung referral na ito ay illegal o bawal. So ito po ay isang forma ng recruitment. From the surveillance operations, yung mga undercover operatives naman natin ay inengganyo din na mag-apply sa kanila. So positive na nagre-recruit nga itong mga ito. At ang sabi nga nila, sa pag-amin nila kanina, i-refer naman nila sa mga lisensyadong ahensya para makapagtrabaho. So it's a clear case of illegal recruitment.
And in other global news, approximately 100 civilians, including women and children, have fallen victim to a grievous massacre in Western African village. This heinous act has prompted condemnation from both the United States and the European Union, shedding light on the urgent need for international attention to address this disturbing event. Paul Gatchalian tells us why.
An estimated 100 civilians, including women and children, have lost their lives in a tragic massacre in the village of Saungo, Western Africa, Burkina Faso, Monday, November 13. The European Union's Diplomatic Service, EU External Action or EEAS, expressed deep concerns over the devastating event. The United States government have also condemned the attack and called on the transitional authorities in Burkina Faso to thoroughly investigate the circumstances and identify those responsible for this heinous act. The country is currently under military rule following a successful coup d'etat in July 2022. Despite the junta's efforts to prioritize security, Islamist groups have continued to carry out attacks, leading to numerous civilian casualties throughout the year. Earlier in April, terrorist groups were held responsible for the deaths of at least 44 individuals in separate assaults on villages in northern Burkina Faso. Additionally, armed men in military uniforms attacked another village in the same region, resulting in the tragic loss of 136 lives, including infants. Authorities have launched investigation into these incidents. The EU, on the other hand, said on its statement, reaffirmed its unwavering support and solidarity with the people of Burkina Faso, acknowledging them as the primary victims of the deteriorating security situation in the country. Paul Gatchalian, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
In a tense situation unfolding in the Icelandic town of Grindavik, residents face significant threats as the risk of a volcanic eruption remains high, despite a decrease in the size and intensity of seismic activity on Monday. Over the weekend, around 4,000 people were evacuated as authorities anticipate the eruption to happen imminently, posing a severe threat to the entire town. A state of emergency has been declared following a series of earthquakes and the emergence of cracks in roads caused by magma spreading underground. Vidir Reynisson, Iceland's head of civil protection and emergency management, expressed deep concern about the area's infrastructure and the impending eruption due to magma intrusion. Grindavik, located 40 kilometers from Iceland's capital, is in close proximity to the Svartsengi geothermal plant, which supplies electricity and water to 30,000 residents on the Reykjanes Peninsula, further intensifying the urgency of the situation. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Maven Carrizo, live from Perth, Australia. Good evening.
Our kasambahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity from Monday to Friday, 9:30 p.m. Philippine time, through the social media accounts of members Church of God International. And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of Proverbs, chapter 20, verse 3, it says, "It is an honor for a man to cease from strife, but every fool will be meddling." And those are the reasons behind the news, November 14, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold, because we need to know. We will always ask why. I'm Ferdinand. We serve the people. We give glory to God.